Ladies and gentlemen, George Cohn, lest we forget World War II Museum, Louisville, Texas. We're going to continue the topic of German paratroopers. So I have a pretty good array of guys right here. Let's start out with the first issue smock. This gentleman is a paratrooper medic. You can tell by the collar tabs that you're blue with him. He's a sergeant. We have a second pattern paratrooper smock with tropical pants and tropical shirt. And he's a tropical guy. And here we have our last issue smock. This would be, let's just say, the Battle of the Bulge period. And this paratrooper's been issued with an EP54, one of Hitler's wonder weapons. So let's just talk about who these guys were. Okay. The German paratroopers were a new concept. Now the Russians invented really the true concept of mass jumps. I think in like 1936, the Russians would have a bunch of guys pile out on the wing of one of their huge bombers, and then they just slide off the wing, and that was a paratrooper jump. Well, the Germans came up with these smocks, and what's interesting about their smocks is they would put their uniform on, their equipment on, and then they would put their smock on. It's called a jump smock, or Knochensack, Bodensack in German. They'd put their smock on, and then their parachute over that. And then they would put their Luger pistol and these egg grenades they would put in their pockets here, okay? And so they would use their Luger pistol and the egg grenades to fight their way to the weapons container. The Germans would use weapon containers that they would kick out that would have their rifles, machine pistols, machine guns, ammunitions, grenades in. So they would use the Luger and the pistol and the egg grenades to fight their way to the weapons container, to get to the weapons container, open that, get their munitions out, and then they could get it on. So then once they had a break in battle, they would take off the smock, put it on over just the uniform, and then put their equipment on over that, such as what you see here, how they have their equipment on over their smock. But when they jumped, they would have the smock over the equipment. So most German paratroopers were issued a standard Luger or PO8. These two guys have Luger holsters on them. These two gentlemen have stick grenades, the M24 stick grenade. If you go down far enough, Mitch, you can see this gentleman has German paratrooper boots with him. He has just standard issue boots. This gentleman also has paratrooper boots. Now let's make mention of these slices of German parachutes that were given to me by an American vet that came into the museum. You know, I think the American parachutes were made out of silk, and this seems to be a synthetic material. So he told me that he cut up German parachutes and sent the stuff home. The German paratroopers have a reputation which precedes them. They were pretty tough guys. They jumped at Norway. They jumped in Holland. They took the bridges in Holland so the German armored could just race across Holland once they had all the bridges. The Germans took the Netherlands in 4 days. I think it took them 6 weeks to take Norway and 4 hours to take Denmark. The Danes were smart. They just surrendered instead of losing people. You're going to lose to them, so you might as well give up. You can't beat them. So, standard 98K, 8mm ammunition, 8mm pouches, enlisted man belt buckle. Nice smock. Great condition. This mint has the German paratrooper pants. So I'm proud to be able to boast a reasonable German paratrooper collection. I just need to be able to display it better.